Willow, I need to ask you something. I want a divorce.
What? What are you suddenly talking about?
I have my reasons, and it really has to be now. Please understand.
No, I don't understand at all. Are you kidding me?
Listen, we've been trying to conceive for a while now.
It's only been 2 months.
Yeah, but I heard other people managed to get pregnant in just a month, so I started thinking maybe this isn't gonna work for us.
There are individual differences, you know. Taking other people's experiences as a standard isn't realistic.
Stop trying to dodge the issue.
What?
You're infertile, aren't you? That's why we can't have a kid. I've always said I wanted children, so why didn't you tell me? It's practically fraud.
Wait, I haven't been diagnosed with anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about.
My grandfather has terminal cancer, and he doesn't have much time left. He always dreamed of seeing my child, and I want to grant him that wish. That's why I can't stay with you anymore.
What? That's the first I've heard of this.
I didn't want to worry you, so I kept it to myself, but the clock is ticking. You understand how I feel, don't you?
Even so, asking for a divorce over this, your priorities are completely skewed. If it's bothering you so much, I'll go get tested, but calm down for a second.
Stop stalling for time! You're such a desperate, pathetic woman! A woman who can't have kids is defective anyway! You probably couldn't get married without deceiving someone, could you? Stop clinging to your status as my wife! It's disgusting! I don't need trash like you in my life anymore!
What are you even saying? Do you not realize how offensive you're being to women who struggle with infertility? You're the worst. Fine, I'm done. Can't believe this is who you really are. I'll divorce you, and I'll leave immediately.
That's great! Ha! I left the divorce papers on the table in the living room, so just sign them and get it over with. Women who can't have kids are just useless to society. Later, loser! Cry all you want by yourself!
Willow, I heard from my brother that you two got divorced. Is that true? What happened? Sakura. I'm sorry. I've been struggling to find the right time to tell you. Well, he told me to divorce him because I couldn't have kids. I feel bad about his grandfather's situation, but honestly, his personality shocked me. His grandfather? You mean our grandfather? Yeah, he said he's terminally ill and doesn't have long to live. Huh? But Grandpa is as healthy as ever. What? He's out fishing all day, every day. He's always been strong, coming from a family of fishermen, and his stamina is endless. And as for our other grandfather, he passed away several years ago. Who is he even talking about? That bastard. He tricked me. If that's true, then I can't forgive my brother either. Willow, I've always thought of you as a real sister. I don't want something like this to separate us. Sakura. Well, after getting married, we started realizing how different our values were. We argued a lot. Maybe staying together was never going to work. Maybe it was just time to move on. I see. Still, I know this must have been a terrible experience for you, but please prioritize your happiness from now on. Yeah, thanks, Sakura.
Hey, how's it going?
What now? The one time you decide to reach out, it's for this? I should have blocked you.
Wow, still so hung up on me, huh? I mean, seriously, a woman I dumped for being infertile shows up at my workplace? What's the deal? And on top of that, a bloated whale like you at a model shoot? What a joke! You're just in the way. Sorry, but I have zero regrets about leaving you. Oh, by the way, I'm a photographer now, so I'm a total chick magnet, unlike some overweight, acne-riddled mess like you.
You've got a lot to say for someone so self-absorbed. Newsflash, I wasn't there for you.
Then why were you even at the studio? A place like that isn't for someone like you. Wait, let me guess. You came to see me, didn't you? Well, too bad. I'm married now.
You're so annoying. I'm going to file a complaint.
Oh, yeah? Try it if you can. This place is restricted to authorized personnel only. Ha! What? Why is the CEO of a major company here? What's going on? Who even are you?
Oh, didn't I mention? I'm a maternity model.
What?
I'm here as part of a company interview. They're spotlighting me as a representative for working mothers. I wanted to showcase how the company supports shorter working hours during pregnancy and even after maternity leave. They chose me because I used those benefits. Oh, and by the way, mistaking a pregnant woman for just being overweight? You should get your eyes checked. Sure, I've gained weight and my skin isn't as clear as it used to be, but you know, pregnancy will do that.
No, this has to be some kind of mistake. You're infertile. You couldn't have kids, right?
That's just something you convinced yourself of. After we got divorced, I went and got tested. Turns out, I didn't have any problems at all. Like I said back then, there are individual differences. For all you know, you might have been the issue.
Why would it be me?
It's just a possibility. Infertility affects men too, you know. Ever heard of that?
Well, no. None of my guy friends ever mentioned it. Besides, my wife just had our baby recently, so it's definitely not me. It had to be you.
Not my concern.
My best friend said infertility is almost always the woman's fault. So there, that proves it.
And once again, you're blindly relying on other people's opinions. Stop making everything someone else's problem.
You're so damn annoying. Whatever. I don't care anymore. I divorced you, married someone I actually wanted, and I'm good now.
Excuse me? So what you're saying is that you were cheating on me, and that's why you wanted a divorce?
That's right. And I knew if you found out about the affair, you'd come after me for alimony. So I conveniently used your so-called infertility as an excuse to break things off. Ha!
Wow, that was already a pretty pathetic excuse, but okay.
First, I figured I'd keep stringing you along to handle the housework while I had fun on the side. But man, you were such a drag to be around. I just thought, screw it.
You know, looking back, I was stupid for rushing into the divorce without putting up more of a fight. But then again, it worked out for the best. After I left you, I changed jobs and met my current husband. We didn't have any trouble having a baby, and now I'm genuinely happy. In that sense, I guess I should thank you. We've both moved on, so do me a favor and stay out of my life from now on.
No problem. I don't want to see your ugly face ever again anyway.
Fine by me, and if you ever get into trouble, don't even think about reaching out to me. Goodbye. Baxter, what is the meaning of this?
Sakura?
I heard from the CEO. You managed to anger the CEO of the company you were working with today for the shoot. Care to explain?
So word already made its way to you, huh?
Of course it did. Do you know why you were able to get hired as a photographer at such a reputable company despite your lack of experience and sales ability? It was thanks to me, my connections.
Well, yeah, but...
No but. It's because I spent years working in publishing, expanding my network, and proving myself. I vouched for you, using the trust I built up over time to get you a job at my acquaintance's studio. Have you forgotten that?
Of course not! How could I forget?
Then why on earth did you say such awful things to Willow? And for that matter, why were you even at the studio today? You weren't scheduled to work.
Well, that's because...
Look, I have a lot of things I want to ask you, but let's start with the most important one.
What's that?
Do you genuinely think it's okay to insult women who can't have children?
What?
I heard from witnesses that you were mocking her, saying things like, "Trash like you who can't have kids should just go home." Do you even understand how disgusting that is? Oh, and by the way, Willow isn't infertile.
Well, how was I supposed to know that? I thought she was! It's her fault for not saying anything up front! Besides, women are meant to have kids. A woman who can't have children has no value, don't you think?
Baxter, do you remember that I had endometriosis when I was in middle school?
Yeah, you used to have really bad cramps during your period, but you said it got better, right?
Because of that, I'm infertile.
What?
I've known since I was a teenager that I wouldn't be able to have children. A doctor told me so.
I didn't know that! You never told me!
Of course I didn't! Do you think that's an easy thing to share? The only people I told were Mom and Willow.
You?
Yes, and do you know what she said to me when I confided in her? She said, "That's a really painful thing to deal with, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. One day you'll meet someone who loves you for who you are. Don't lose confidence in yourself." She comforted me in a way I'll never forget.
I didn't know any of this!
Not only that, but she said that if she ever had children, she'd want me to be their godmother. It made me so happy because I had given up hope of ever being involved in a child's life.
See, so that's how it was.
And now, what did you just say? Go on, repeat it for me.
No, that's not what I meant.
A woman who can't have kids has no value. Isn't that what you said? After all the help I gave you to land your job, that's the kind of nonsense you're spouting? If anyone here is trash, it's you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't thinking.
Then explain it to me. What exactly were you thinking when you said such awful things?
I was just trying to get Willow to hate me on purpose, that's it! I wanted to push her away, so I said those things to make her angry. I swear I wouldn't say that to any other woman!
Do you seriously expect me to believe that? You stood there in a professional workspace and openly insulted her. And even if it was just Willow, that doesn't make it okay. You're unbelievable. You know what? I've made my decision.
Decision? What decision?
You're fired, effective immediately.
What? Fired?
Obviously, you insulted the wife of the CEO of the company we're working with. Do you realize how badly you've jeopardized future business relationships?
Wait, the CEO's wife? Don't tell me!
Yes, Willow.
No way!
Willow is an incredibly capable and dependable person, and the new CEO, who's known for being easygoing, fell in love with her no-nonsense attitude. She works for that company and happens to be married to the CEO.
You gotta be kidding me! There's no way!
Oh, it's true. And thanks to your little stunt, you've tarnished not just the studio's reputation, but mine as well. Do you have any idea how devastating it would be for the studio if we lost trust from a major corporation like theirs? You've left us with no choice but to cut ties with you.
You can't just fire me out of nowhere? This is so unfair. If I lose this job, I have nowhere else to go. I won't accept it.
Some shame, Baxter. After all the damage you've done, you still have the nerve to make it about yourself?
I have to think about myself. What else can I do?
Why don't you at least start by apologizing to Willow? You've never once apologized to her, not even after all the lies you told her about your grandfather and the cruel things you said when you divorced her.
You're right. If I apologize, maybe she'll forgive me. If she does, this whole mess will blow over.
Excuse me? Do you even hear yourself? You're unbelievable.
Thank you, Sakura. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll go apologize to Willow right now. Then everything will work out.
Are you seriously this delusional? How pathetic can you get? You're disgusting. I'm done with this conversation. Good luck digging yourself out of this one. Oh, and good luck explaining things to your new wife, too. You're going to need it.
Willow, I need to ask you for something.
Didn't I make it clear last time? Don't contact me anymore.
I want us to get back together.
Excuse me? Are you serious? You're trying to win over a married woman while being a father yourself? What kind of twisted logic is that? Do you even have a shred of morality left?
Woman, I mean, my so-called wife isn't anything to me anymore. Damn it, this is all messed up.
Oh, I see. So, something happened. Care to explain?
She was pregnant with another man's child. When we did the DNA test, it came back clear as day. It's not mine. It's someone else's kid. The results came in just last night.
Wait. So let me get this straight. You're telling me the woman you cheated on me with was cheating on you? Oh my god, this is hilarious. You ended up being just another one of her flings? Honestly, the stupidity here is mind-blowing. Did neither of you ever think with your brains instead of, well, you know? But tell me this, why did you even do a DNA test in the first place? Was there something specific that tipped you off?
Well, it's just that the baby didn't look, white enough when it was born. The more time passed, the more suspicious it got. So I figured I should confirm things just in case.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? A foreigner? So even from the start, it was obvious. That's rich. This whole situation is absurd.
I'm being serious here. Do you think this is easy for me? Thanks to all this, I can't trust women anymore. I'm done with them. But as a man, I still want to have kids, so you're the only one I can turn to.
Wow, just wow. Let me remind you, I'm married now. And pregnant. You need to stop.
Matter? We were once husband and wife. Doesn't that mean anything to you? How can you abandon me when I need you the most?
Which part of you're out of your mind are you failing to grasp? I honestly thought you'd contact me to apologize for your behavior yesterday. But no, you've somehow managed to disappoint me even further. I didn't think it was possible. You know what? I've been letting this slide, thinking it's not worth my time, but you're so unbelievably ridiculous that I feel like I need to set an example, for society's sake. You need to be crushed.
Wait, what do you mean? What are you planning to do?
For starters, I'm filing a claim for alimony for the infidelity.
What? But we're already divorced! That doesn't make any sense!
It's entirely possible to claim damages even after divorce. Wow, you really didn't know that, huh? No wonder you were so brazen about it.
You're kidding!
By the way, have you told your family about the DNA test results yet?
There's no way I could bring that up! Luckily, my parents live far away, so they haven't seen the baby yet.
Oh, don't worry about that. I already informed them. I made sure to include the bit about your cheating, too.
What? You did what?
Oh, and I also asked Sakura to let your grandfather know. He should be getting the full story as we speak.
Not Grandpa, too! Stop it, please! My parents and Grandpa will be furious! You know how scary they can get! And Sakura, she's already furious with me after yesterday's fiasco! I don't need this piling on!
Oh, I think they've suspected for a while. They just didn't have the evidence to confirm it, but now they do.
It doesn't matter! I only said I cheated! It's just words! Without proof, it means nothing!
Oh, funny you should mention that. After yesterday, I spoke to Sakura, and she dug up quite a bit through your coworkers. Turns out there was plenty of evidence you were unfaithful long before our divorce.
What?
Apparently, you'd been hiding an overnight bag and gifts for your mistress in your locker at work. So, when you dropped by the office that time, was it just to pick those up?
I don't even know about that!
Wait, aren't you still living with the woman you cheated on me with? Does that mean, oh my god, are you cheating on her now too? Unbelievable. You're a joke! Thanks for confirming that, by the way. This conversation is more than enough evidence. You're doing all the work for me.
Damn it! This is all your fault! My entire life is falling apart because of you!
No, the only thing that's truly fallen apart is your brain. Let me break it down for you. You left me so you could marry the woman you were cheating with. Then she went and had another man's baby. Meanwhile, you were cheating on her with someone else. This is like a soap opera from hell. And now you think I'd take you back? Really?
What was I supposed to do? Tell me, what can I do to fix this mess? I'm gonna lose my job, my family, everything! You're the only one who can save me now! You have to help me!
Not my problem. I'm not your savior.
I'll apologize for everything, okay? I was wrong. I'll change. I'll treat you like you deserve. Please, you're the only one for me.
Are you for real? You seriously think I'd pick up the trash you've become? Get lost, you pathetic excuse for a man.
What?
I don't ever want to see your face again. Oh, and just so you know, I'm forwarding this entire conversation to my boss. Remember my husband? Yeah, he'll be seeing this. Don't count on having a job tomorrow.
Wait! No! Please don't do this!
Go ahead and cry all you want. Oh, and consider yourself blocked. Bye-bye. Make sure to enjoy your loneliness. Willow, I heard you had your baby. Congratulations! Thank you, Sakura. Yes, I had a baby girl. Actually, if it's okay with you, I was wondering if you'd be willing to be her godmother. What? Really? Are you sure? I mean, I'm not even your sister-in-law anymore. Of course I'm sure. I'm not asking you because you're my sister-in-law. Or were, I guess. I'm asking you because you've always been there for me. Because you've been someone I could truly count on. That's why I'd like you to do this. Willow, thank you. Truly, thank you so much. It means the world to me. Oh, by the way, speaking of things on my mind, can I ask you how that how he's been doing lately? Just curious. Oh, him? Well, last I heard, he was caught up in a mess with divorce settlements, alimony, and other drama. But since both parties were cheating on each other, it seems they agreed to call it even and go their separate ways. Honestly, it's kind of hilarious if you think about it. And apparently, he got a little paranoid about things recently. He decided to go for some tests. Turns out, he's infertile. Can you believe it? After all that mockery and arrogance from him? Oh, wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Karma, in my opinion. Pure and simple. Honestly, though, I think it's for the best. If those genes were passed on, it'd probably just lead to more trouble down the line. Better that they don't continue, right? The scene at the filming studio was, without a doubt, a chaotic and noisy one. Imagine the shock when a man who had not only insulted his wife, but also dared to appear in front of everyone asking for reconciliation. His actions were not only a shock to his wife, but to everyone in the studio. It was a public disgrace. His audacity in showing up, demanding to be taken back after everything that had happened, was truly shocking. No one could have predicted that he would go to such lengths. However, the most natural response came from the husband, who was also the president of the company. His anger was immediate, and it was intense. No one could blame him for feeling furious. After all, his dignity and the dignity of his wife had been severely wounded in front of so many people, all because of the man's blatant disregard for their relationship. The fact that he was the president of the company made his anger even more understandable. As the leader of the company, he was not only personally affected by the situation, but also professionally humiliated. He had a reputation to protect, and this man's appearance demanding reconciliation was an affront to that. To make matters worse, the situation in the studio didn't help him either. His behavior after the incident led to him being ostracized by the employees. They couldn't stand him anymore. He had once been the figure they respected as the head of the company, but now he had become the person they couldn't bear to be around. He was a walking embarrassment. His attempts to salvage the situation by reaching out to his superiors only made matters worse. The company's leadership completely distanced themselves from him. They refused to give him any work, any assignments. It was as though they were trying to push him out as much as the employees had already done. The tension between him and the rest of the company escalated, and soon he had no choice but to leave. It wasn't a resignation he chose out of his own free will, but rather a forced exit, one that had been dictated by the circumstances and the overwhelming negativity surrounding him. He had no other options but to resign, and even then, his departure felt like a humiliating expulsion from the company. The company's dismissal of him wasn't the only blow he received, however. The situation at home wasn't any better. His parents, who had once been supportive of him, had grown suspicious of his infidelity long before the scandal at the filming studio. They had their doubts, but they had held off on confronting him, perhaps hoping it was just a passing phase. But now, with all the details coming to light, they could no longer ignore the truth. The infidelity was undeniable. They felt betrayed, not just by his actions, but by the way he had kept them in the dark about his personal life. His parents had always believed in family loyalty, but his actions had shattered that. They couldn't reconcile their love for him with the hurt he had caused. It was clear that their decision to cut ties with him was a painful one, but they had no other choice. The depth of his betrayal left them no room for forgiveness. They decided to disown him, effectively severing all ties. They could no longer stand by a son who had shown such blatant disrespect for the values they had tried to instill in him. Their disowning him was an act of finality, a clear message that his actions had consequences far beyond the immediate fallout. In their eyes, he had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, and as a result, they made the painful decision to remove him from their lives entirely. In the midst of all this, he apparently turned to Sakura for help. Given everything that had happened, it seemed like a desperate last attempt to salvage something from his shattered life. However, his plea was met with complete indifference. Sakura, who had been involved in his life, whether personally or professionally, chose to ignore him entirely. She didn't respond to his messages or acknowledge his efforts in any way. His plea for help, for some sort of emotional support, was completely brushed off. It was as though she had made a firm decision that there was no place for him in her life anymore. Whatever hopes he had of reconciling or even gaining sympathy from her were dashed. She had clearly moved on and had no intention of engaging with him. The issue of male infertility, which he had brought up in their previous conversations, was also left unresolved. He had been the one to mention it, but Sakura never replied. It was one of those topics he probably hoped would elicit some kind of sympathy or understanding, but instead, it was met with a cold silence. His words about the infertility issue seemed almost irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, considering the mess he had created with his infidelity. For Sakura, there was nothing more to discuss on the matter. She wasn't interested in engaging with him on a topic that seemed trivial in light of everything else that had happened. He probably hoped that Sakura would at least offer some understanding or support regarding his condition, perhaps out of sympathy or some lingering feelings. However, there was nothing but silence on her part. She didn't feel the need to explain herself or respond to his claim. In a sense, her silence spoke volumes. She wasn't going to be manipulated into providing comfort for him after everything he had done. His attempts to draw her into a conversation were ignored, and he was left with nothing but the echoes of his own desperate words. As the days went by, it became increasingly clear that there was no way to turn back the clock. His attempts to salvage his relationships, whether with his wife, his family, or even Sakura, were futile. His actions had left deep scars, and no amount of pleading or apologies could fix the damage he had caused. His infidelity had fractured the trust and respect of everyone around him, and the fallout from his behavior was widespread. There was no coming back from the betrayal. The damage was too extensive. It wasn't just the scandal at the studio or the breaking of family ties that caused the irreparable rift. It was the cumulative effect of his actions over time. The lies, the deceit, and the manipulation had all added up to this point, and there was no way to undo what had been done. There was, however, one person who had not severed ties with him, his grandfather. Unlike the rest of the family, who had distanced themselves completely from him after everything that had happened, his grandfather refused to give up on him. He was the only one who, despite the betrayal, chose to keep him close, but how he did so was rather unusual. Rather than offering any form of emotional comfort or support, his grandfather took a different approach. Under the guise of monitoring him, his grandfather brought him in, almost like a ward, and took him aboard his fishing boat every day. This was no ordinary fishing trip either. It was a rather grueling and demanding routine, as his grandfather was involved in the tuna fishing industry, which could be incredibly labor-intensive. It seemed that the grandfather, despite his advanced age, was still working hard every day. From what I heard, he was still out there fishing for tuna, a task that required a great deal of physical effort. What struck everyone, though, was that his grandfather was no young man. In fact, he was well past 90 years old, an age that most would associate with slowing down and perhaps even retiring from such hard labor. But instead, he continued to work, and not only that, he seemed to be using the fishing trips as a way to keep a close eye on his grandson, the man who had fallen so far from grace. It's hard to imagine how this old man could keep up with such physically demanding work at his age, but there he was, showing no signs of slowing down. It makes you wonder just who this grandfather really is, doesn't it? How could a man of his age still maintain such an active role in the fishing industry, especially when his grandson, the one he was now watching over, had gotten himself into such a mess? Was it just the need to stay active, or was there something more to his actions? Perhaps the grandfather believed that by keeping his grandson close, he could teach him some sort of lesson, or at least give him a sense of purpose through hard work. Maybe, despite everything, he still held on to some hope that his grandson could be redeemed in some way, or at the very least, learn some responsibility from the tough life he was being subjected to on the boat. When I think about it, I can't help but wonder what kind of person his grandfather really is. It's almost surreal to think about. This man, at such an advanced age, still working on the boat every day, doing the kind of hard labor that most people would be too tired to even think about. He seemed to be a relic of a bygone era, a man who had lived through so much and yet was still pushing forward, unwilling to retire or rest. It's almost as though his whole identity was tied to his work, and he was determined to continue working as long as he could, no matter how old he got. But what struck me even more was the fact that his grandfather, despite everything that had happened with his grandson, had not given up on him. He had not cast him aside like the rest of the family had. Instead, he had taken him in under the pretense of monitoring him. It was as if his grandfather believed that the only way for his grandson to learn something valuable was through this brutal daily routine. It wasn't a comforting or easy environment. Rather, it was harsh and demanding, a far cry from the usual cushy life he had once known. Yet somehow, his grandfather seemed to think that this tough love approach would somehow help him turn things around. It was almost as if he believed that the physical toll of working on the boat would teach his grandson the importance of hard work and the value of persistence. In the midst of all this, I recall hearing something particularly shocking. It seems that the grandfather, despite his advanced age, had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. It was difficult to comprehend, especially considering how active and vital he seemed to be despite his illness. The idea of a man so old, dealing with such a severe condition, yet still pushing himself to work every day was almost unbelievable. I couldn't help but think that this was something he had probably kept to himself for a long time, not wanting anyone to feel sorry for him. Maybe he didn't want anyone to know about his illness. Perhaps because he didn't want to appear weak in front of his grandson or anyone else. It was as if he was trying to show that even in the face of his own mortality, he could still stand tall and continue working. But then, I started to wonder if the whole terminal cancer story was even true. Could it have been a lie, perhaps concocted by the grandfather himself to explain his actions? To explain why he was still so active and why he insisted on keeping his grandson close? Could he have been using this as an excuse to justify the demanding lifestyle he had imposed on his grandson? To make it seem like he was doing it out of some sense of urgency because of his health condition? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was hard to say for sure, but one thing was clear. The grandfather's actions were not just about keeping his grandson occupied. There seemed to be a deeper reason behind them, one that was rooted in his own sense of responsibility, or perhaps even guilt over his grandson's situation. I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of amusement when I thought about it. Here was this elderly man, still working hard every day, keeping an eye on his grandson, all the while possibly dealing with a serious illness that most people his age would be too frail to even handle. And yet, despite everything, there was something almost absurd about the whole situation. The fact that he had managed to carry on as if nothing had changed, continuing his work despite his condition, and the way he had brought his grandson into this world of hard labor. It just seemed almost too much to comprehend, and I couldn't help but laugh to myself when I thought about how he had managed to convince everyone that he was terminally ill, when in reality, he might have been pushing himself just to prove a point. Whenever I remember this, I can't help but find it somewhat amusing. It's hard not to chuckle at the absurdity of the situation, even though I understand the seriousness of it all. It's as though his grandfather had turned his illness, if it was even real, into a kind of game or challenge. The whole thing is so bizarre that it still makes me want to laugh, even though I know it's not really a laughing matter. For now, though, it seems that the only thing his grandson can do is endure this harsh, difficult environment. Despite everything, it looks like he's pushing through, trying to survive in a situation that's as far from his comfortable life as possible. Whether this tough love approach will help him in the long run remains to be seen, but it's clear that his grandfather is determined to keep him under watch, making sure he doesn't stray too far from the path he's trying to teach him. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.